So, I'm coming on here today to chat to an awesome dude called Max about meditation. Now, hopefully he'll jump on in a minute. We've had a few technical difficulties.
Hey.
Yay! So much easier.
It's half an hour.
Yeah, I'm definitely not de-stressed now. Crikey. God.
Meditation.
Right. So I just did a little intro saying that we're going to talk about meditation. I'm relatively new to this.
Okay.
And obviously I've asked you, like I got confused with what was what, and I'm starting to understand it a bit better now. But yeah, reading your book has just not made it crystal clear, because I don't think it ever will be, but it's made it so much more, well, digestible, I guess. So yeah. So where do you want to start? Because you know it all.
I'm not sure I do. There's too much to be known. And even then, knowing it all is never going to help you. You know, you can't just know how to meditate. Knowing how to meditate will never get you to the experience.
Yeah.
You know, all you can do is keep practicing until you just fall into it and you realize that you've been trying to get somewhere this whole time, and in fact trying to get there was this thing that was stopping you from just being there.
Yeah.
You know, it's there to be had, and it's one of those things that you just suddenly find yourself in. It's the same way that you prepare yourself to go to sleep. You know, I can't tell you how you actually go to sleep. That's just something you do. You know, I can tell you to brush your teeth. I can tell you to wrap yourself up in your duvet, open the window at night, whatever little tips. Yeah, exactly. All of that. You know, none of that is going to actually tell you how to fall asleep. You just got to do it yourself. And it's the exact same meditation. You know, I can share with you all the tips and techniques and tricks, but you might find that actually none of that works for you. And then you do something else one day and it just clicks. It just happens.
Yeah.
You know,
that's definitely one thing I've had to learn, because I always thought that you had to feel the same, like a certain way, or experience something, or there was a goal at the end of it, but there isn't. That's the whole point of it. You're not aiming for a goal. You're just aiming for, well, just being and not thinking about.
Yeah,
it's really hard to explain.
Moving out of the thinking mind and being in that space where the stillness is. You know, the thinking mind, we've got several minds. Like if you look at the chakras, each chakra is essentially its own mind. And, you know, the thinking mind up here, all that really is a problem solver. So if you apply it to everything, it means everything's a problem. And if everything's a problem, you're not going to find peace. You're not going to find contentment. You're not going to find stillness. So you've got to get out of that thinking mind and start settling into, you know, your heart space, your gut space, like getting deep inside of yourself and being in those minds where there's no chatter, there's no language, you know, there's no talking, but there are other messages to be found.
Yeah.
I think the best way I can really, you know, I don't want to say what meditation is, because trying to do that ends up destroying it. You know, it's kind of like it'll prevent you from ever getting there if I tell you what meditation is.
Yeah.
But the best way, the closest I can explain it to people whenever I do my courses, this is what I always say, is that, you know, when you're looking at a piece of art, for example, when you're looking at an oil painting on the wall, you are putting an energy into that, what's in front of you, into that painting.
Yeah.
And you are filling that painting with your attention, your focus, your concentration. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, everything we do in our life is always putting that energy into something else. We're always putting it into, you know, a book or our phone or a TV or someone else, but we never put it back into ourselves. And so what you need to do in your meditation practice is guide yourself towards taking that energy that you're putting into other things and first of all finding out where it comes from. And the only way you can do that is by dropping down through the layers, getting closer and closer towards it until you kind of drop into a space where you are no longer putting it into something else. You're only putting it back into itself.
Mm. Yeah, it's all starting to make sense for me, because like the saying where you can't pour from an empty cup. Like if you're literally bearing all and giving all your energy out, you've got nothing left for yourself. So yeah, it is hard to then go inwardly, because there is energy there. We're still breathing, but yeah, it's like with my paint, you're saying about the painting, my painting on the wall is, for me, every time I look at it, I well up, because it's got such meaning behind it. But other people just go, that's a picture of a beach.
Yes.
So yeah. So, but for me and the artist that did it, it was like she literally read my mind. I gave her a few cues, and she's very much into the spiritual side as well. And she literally put my heart on that bit of paper. So yeah, it is energy, definitely.
Yeah, there's a connection there.
Yeah. So with a lot of people, they're scared about starting meditation. They like you say, they worry about what it's meant to do, or how we're meant to feel, or how to get into it. And there's a few in the group that have obviously tried it and don't quite get to grips with it. And the way I've explained it to start with was that, like you've said, it's like riding a bike. You don't just get up at 3 or 4 years old and get on your bike and pedal.
No, exactly. No, it's meditation is a skill, and like any other skill, reading, writing, it takes practice, it takes commitment, it takes getting it wrong more times than it takes getting it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do you personally do it? Is that big? It's quite a big question.
It's a long story. I don't know how long you want to be on this Zoom meeting for. Okay, super short. Basically, at the age of 16, I very much lost my way. I went down the route of, I became mentally unwell. I was told I had depression. With that, I just kind of lost my way, ended up homeless. I was regularly using drugs heavily. That was what my whole life was. There was nothing else. And then, fortunately, sort of an incident happened that made me realize, it doesn't have to be this way. And I managed to get back home. That initial sort of saving from that situation was the generosity and kindness of other people. But I essentially just started learning how to meditate by reading books. I started teaching myself. Anything I could read, anything I could watch, I was just really just trying to give it a go and figure out myself. And I mean, I definitely wasn't meditating in those early days. I was nowhere near, but I had been waiting on this waiting list to see like not a counselor, but someone who, is a bit sort of more of a professional in the mental health and wellness side of things. And by the time I got to see him, I was well into my practice, into a daily practice every single day, trying to do something that was going to help me feel better. And so when I saw this guy, he basically said, "Oh, you're doing everything I was going to tell you to do." And so I was like, "Oh, okay, sweet." So I literally saw him like once or twice more, and he was just like, "Look, you're fine. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it should work." He was. I mean, the way that the sort of doctors in this side of the world prescribe it is it's mindfulness.
Yeah.
So I was approaching meditation from a more, without knowing it, a more spiritual perspective, whereas for him it was very much just like clinical, use your brain kind of thing.
Yeah, exercise the brain.
Yeah. And I mean, again, it took me years of practice to actually figure it out. I say I probably was in this stage of my meditation practice for like 3-4 years, just experimenting and you know, finding small discoveries, but nothing major. And then I then spent 2 years where that was it. That's all I did. You know, I mean, I'd go to work, but otherwise, everything that I was doing was a spiritual practice, you know, yoga, meditation. I had spent too long unwell. And I had just decided one day, right, that's it. I'm going to keep doing this, you know, hard every single day until I can step out of this and say, I'm okay. And that took about 2 years. And I'd say within those 2 years, I was so close to maybe like 99% closer to being able to meditate. But I didn't fully get that 100% until I went to a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat.
Wow.
So for 10 days, you can't read, you can't write, you can't talk, you don't have eye contact. There's no communication at all. For 10 days, you're in complete silence. You're around people, but you're not engaging with them. And you meditate for about 10 hours every day. So I've done that twice. And the first time was when I like fully understood meditation. And the second time was when I realized I do understand meditation.
And hence you've written a book on it now.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's my book is essentially my meditation course. Obviously, with lockdown, I wasn't able to continue doing my courses. And I mean, I just wanted to do it. I want to do it in some form. And someone suggested making a little ebook, a little meditation guide to help people. And I was like, okay, yeah, you know, I'd always thought, I always think too big. I'd always thought like writing a whole book. I'd never thought just writing like a leaflet, you know? So I started writing out a leaflet, but then I realized, you know, no, I've got a book in me, and it just kept coming and coming and coming. And essentially, yeah, it's my meditation course, but I've given myself that extra time to expand and go into a lot further detail with things than I would have ever had before. You know, obviously my meditation course, it's only 6 hours in total. With my book, you know, it's as many hours as you need, really.
Yeah. But going back to your story, very similar for me. And I think it does take a lot of trauma to almost trigger to find something. You either go one way or the other. And straight away, they put me on antidepressants. It was just take them, go away. And if you feel worse, come back. So, yeah, finding self-help is a life changer, really. But yeah, with your book, as I've said to you, I don't read. Like, I listen to audibles, and I literally could not put that down. And Rich was going, seriously, Jem, just put it down. You need to sleep. So yeah, it's so easy to read. So I will put the link.
Thank you very much.
So the reason that I started doing it was because I was told to stop. So being that ill, they said, you just need to stop and switch off, stop working. You need to stop. And speaking to a lot of people now, we've stopped stopping. That's the only way I can say it, is that we don't shut off. We don't, like, we feel guilty sitting. Like the amount of people that go, well, I can't justify taking time out to do a bit of yoga or sitting and relaxing. It's like, well, why? Why do you feel guilty? You can't fill your cup up if you're not stopping. But yeah, I tried, like you say, it's finding your own way of doing it. So I took the Headspace, just could not get on with that. Like, there's the apps that you can use. I just don't, that doesn't work for me. It might work for someone else, but that doesn't work for me. Was I'm more into the Kundalini side of it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very different, and it's very new to me because my teacher is a Kundalini teacher. But I always thought you had to be dead still, sat on mat, eyes closed, shutting off. But then they use Kriyas, and you're moving hands, you're chanting and all sorts. And yeah, I really do go quite deep into a meditation with that. So I'm very wary at the moment because I'm not comfortable about going too deep. But yeah, there's different stages. And like with the start of your book, I didn't realise that half of your book at the beginning, I put in my sessions, and I didn't even realise that that was part of the process into meditation. So doing the tense and release thing, and I knew breathing was, obviously breathing's a massive part of it, but yeah, I really didn't realise that everything that we do in the yoga sessions is building up to be able to come to meditate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Back at, the origin of yoga, essentially, there was only one pose, and that was sitting cross-legged, closing your eyes and going inside.
Yeah.
And it's from that everything else has evolved. The whole yoga world, all the limbs of yoga, everything has grown from that one posture. And essentially, the whole yoga game, all the physical practices, all the breathing, all of it, the yamas, niyamas, all that side of stuff, all of it is meant to just get you to that point where you can be sitting and go inside.
Yeah. And I've only doing the teacher training, that's only just come to light for me. And it all makes sense now. Stretching, you're releasing the tension, the energy to be able to come to sit. And yeah, it's all clicking into place for me. But where would you say to start then, if someone is a bit like, oh, I don't know about that?
So the format of my course and the book, to some degree, is actually based on the koshas.
Yeah.
So the koshas, kosha basically translates to sheath. So the koshas are the sheaths of reality. And, you basically start at your top layer, which is the physical, the gross, the me touching my hands, that kind of dimension of life. And then you start dropping deeper, you get into your breathing, pranayama, you've got your emotions, your intellect. Every step of the koshas is like going deeper and deeper inside of yourself, and yourself being a dimension of your reality, of this reality. And when you manage to work through those layers, it's kind of like it's like trying to focus on something closer and closer to your eyeball. You start far away, and then as you go through the koshas, you're looking closer and closer and closer, and you're keeping that focus until you're touching your eye, and you can see exactly it's like seeing with your own eyeball, or seeing your own eyeball with your own eyeball. Something like that,
Yeah, you're looking at your eyeball, so yeah, I get it.
So if you're starting your meditation practice, deal with the layer of reality you are most connected to. Deal with the things you are most in tune with. So touch, sense, get used to bringing your awareness to that layer of yourself. And then when you feel comfortable with that, when you start feeling things beneath that, that's when you're ready to drop into that and start exploring that dimension of yourself and understanding this area of your being. And then each time you just get a little teaser that there's something more. So you keep dropping deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah. So we don't need to fear it. It isn't I'm going to drop full into deep meditation the first time I do it. You're very lucky if you can. That'd be amazing if you could. But
yes, yeah. There are scary things that, fear. Fear in meditation is an indication that you're going in the right direction, because what we end up doing in meditation when we get to the deepest layers is we start dealing with the truth. And, when you start dealing with the truth about yourself, that can be a scary thing sometimes, when you have to, accept and recognize and appreciate the fact that maybe you're not who you think you are. And obviously then in psychology and in Jungian psychology and everything, that's known as the shadow. And, dropping into the shadow can be a dark, scary place, but you have to go into it to take the light there in the first place.
Yeah, I love that analogy. And like I was saying about the whole trauma, that you either well, yeah, like with me, it was literally this slap in the face that woke me up, and it's like, I've got to do something about this. So yeah, to go into the dark, to be in the dark, you then find the light coming out. Sorry, I've just got to grab a charger. My phone's dying.
Okay, no worries.
There you go. Thank you, darling. So, would you be happy sharing something, like a little mini one?
I would, yeah.
Awesome.
I thought you might ask this. So I think the best meditation that I can share in this video is the meditation that really helps me sort of understand what meditation is meant to be.
Yeah.
It is in my book, but it's a real short one. So I'm just going to drop my chair because I realize I'm basically like hovering off the screen right now. Yeah, so it's the mountain meditation. And, you know, when I understood how to be a mountain in my practice, that's when it was like, oh, right, that's what this is meant to be. And when I understood that I'm a mountain and all these other practices are something to help me get deeper inside of that mountain, you know, deep inside the core of the earth, then this is by far the best meditation to fully grasp where you're meant to be going with your practice.
Yeah. Because I always find that a lot of mine, work that I've done over the years with different teachers, they've all got like a visualization, and some of them have scared the living daylights out of me. So one was on a cliff, and I literally sat bolt upright thinking I was going to fall off this cliff. And obviously you take your own interpretations, but it did put me off a while. So it's finding your own, yeah, if you can connect with something like that, then just keep going with that. So yeah, I've obviously read your one. So yeah, but the mountain, yeah, it's worked for me. So
brilliant. All right, well,
awesome.
If you're ready,
yeah,
and obviously anyone else watching at this a later stage, then join in. So sitting in any position that's comfortable for you, cross legs, kneeling, whatever your preference, just make sure you're able to tilt your pelvis forwards and have your knees lower than your hips, lengthening through the spine, lengthening through the crown of your head, rolling your shoulder blades behind you, closing your eyes, and just breathing. Nothing to do but breathe. No thoughts need thinking about, and there is nowhere else to be. Be in your breath. Feel the movement of every breath in your body, the expansion, contraction, the rise and the fall. Feel where you're breathing into, where you're breathing from. Feeling the cool air coming in through the nostrils, the warmer air coming out. As you settle into your body, bring to mind a mountain. See a mountain in your mind's eye, and know that you are this mountain. Feel your sturdiness, your presence, your size. You are immovable and vast. Feel the stillness of this mountain. And above you is a blue sky. Blue sky all around. Your roots hold you fast, whilst your head reaches high into the heavens. Above you in your clear sky, which is your mind, Each thought that may pass by is a cloud. Clouds come and go. The breeze will bring them around you, though they will pass on through the same way that they came. You can watch the clouds come and go without them ever changing what you are. There may be times when it seems like there is no blue sky to be found. Maybe the clouds become a storm and you are surrounded by the dark. But you remain the mountain. You remain still, patient, safe, in the knowledge that in time this too will pass. You are not the clouds. The clouds cannot adopt the qualities of the mountain. They can only ever be temporary to the permanence of you. You can weather the storm, and when it clears, the blue sky is there once again. So be the mountain. Then breathing deeply. Deep belly breaths, breathing through the nose. Feeling your body, feeling your breath. And keeping your eyes closed, bring your hands together and rub your hands. Generate some heat in your palms, heat in the hands, and then place your hands over your eyes. Feel the warmth of your hands seeping into your eye sockets, relaxing your eyeballs. Behind your closed hands, opening your eyes. And then gradually just opening the fingers, allowing light to come in slowly, gently. And then when you're ready, bringing your hands in front of you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Welcome. So yeah, that was just that's a nice, quick, short meditation because, you know, I know the first thing that people think about when they sit for the first time is how long is this going to take? So, you know, when it comes to meditating, that is the first hurdle that most will find is the thought of, you know, time, essentially. And that is the last thing we want to be thinking about. So when time comes up, again, that's a cloud. Just let it pass and then be in those blue skies. Why would you ever want to rush away from that, you know?
Yeah. I got quite teary with that. No, that is a common thing that comes up for most people that I speak to. It's like, well, how long should I do it for? I don't know.
As long as you feel.
Yeah.
As long as you want.
Not putting pressure on yourself. If you've only sat for 2 minutes, you've sat for 2 minutes. Like you build. I've yet to do what you've done because I remember a while ago you did like a whole week of it. I'd love to be able to build to that, but I can't do it at the moment. But yeah, but time is. I think that's why I don't connect with that Headspace app because it's right. There you go, done, and you're back out of it. So yeah.
Some people can sit for a whole hour and barely meditate, whereas someone can sit for like 2 minutes and meditate. You know, it's not about length. It's about, and it's, I mean, I say that as my own experience. You know, sometimes I can sit down and within, you know, 5-10 minutes, I'm there. That's it. You know, I'm in that space. I've reconnected. Cool. I'm done. Other times when, you know, more stuff is going on, it might take an hour. Like it doesn't matter. If I have that time, I'm giving that time to myself as long as it takes.
Yeah. And that's the most important part, is giving yourself time. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel nice and chilled now after the palaver of trying to get on and do this.
Yes, it was a faff, but we made it. We're here.
We're here. I think it's a thing with yogis though. I speak to a lot of them and they're like, technology.
Yeah, I don't do all this, you know, I stick to books.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. I did have questions, but I think we've answered them all.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so other methods, obviously there's YouTube and Headspace and loads of apps that can help you with it as well, and they may work for them.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, what's that saying? All roads lead to the throne. You know, there's so many ways. Like, you don't even have to be doing yoga, just as long as you're finding that peace, finding that contentment. As long as you're happy, you know, what more can you ask?
Yeah, that's it. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
No, thank you, Jem. It's been fun.
And I will upload this and put your link as well to your fantabulous book underneath it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jem. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, and blessings.
Take care. See you later.
Take care.
Bye.